All right, let's bring in Republican Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone.
What do you make of the fact, Peter just mentioned this, that the federal government is taking the extraordinary measure of sending out word to any federal employee, hey, how would you like to leave that boring job in Washington and come down to our southern border for up to 120 days because it's all messed up down here?
Well, I was there last week, and what I saw was an absolute crisis. These scenes are heartbreaking, of course. You have young moms and dads with small children sitting under a bridge in the middle of the night waiting to be processed. Inside some of these facilities, you have small children without even parents there who are sleeping right next to each other in large, I guess you might call them cages, guys. They've replaced the chain link fence with plastic plastic walls, but still they're packed in tight. But all of that, Steve, is addressing the symptoms, not the cause. Asking federal employees to deploy to the border, addressing the symptoms, not the cause. The cause is Joe Biden opening our border and saying anyone who comes here can get in, especially anyone who has a child under the age of 18. Well, guess what you get? Tens of thousands and soon hundreds of thousands and more of people showing up with young kids. I spoke to several of them on Friday night or Thursday night underneath that bridge, and I asked them why they came. Almost to a person, they said to find a job or to get a better life. They didn't say they were facing persecution because of their race or ethnicity or sex or political views or religion. They came because they want a better life, which I can understand, but that's not basis for asylum under our country's laws. They are coming because Joe Biden dismantled the highly effective policies of the Trump administration. They could reinstitute all those today. They could say we're going to turn back everyone who comes to the border because of the pandemic. They could say you have to adjudicate your asylum claims in the first country you enter after you leave your country, most likely Guatemala. And if you get to our border, you have to remain in Mexico. All of those were highly effective policies, and not a single one resulted in kids or even adults being turned back into the Mexican desert, as Joe Biden and others in his administration have lied. They put them back on planes, they sent them home. And after you send them home on one plane and their neighbors and their countrymen see that, guess what? The rest of them stopped coming.
Yeah. Right. Senator Ted Cruz was on that trip with you, and he was at a facility in Donna, I think it was Donna, Texas, and a staffer came up to him and said, you need to put down your phone. You're not allowed to record this. Watch this.
You don't want the pictures taken. The rules are arbitrary, and they're designed to keep the American people in the dark.
Dignity and respect. That's all we ask.
Well,
dignity
no, it's
and
not.
respect.
You're asking, is this dignity and respect? Look at these people. There's a pandemic.
Respect to the people.
Let me ask you. There's a pandemic.
I respectfully ask you, sir.
There is a pandemic. Is this respecting the rights of these kids?
I ask you. Please
are you
respect
respecting the rights of these kids?
This is not a zoo, sir. Please don't treat the people.
You're right. And this is a dangerous place.
Please don't treat the people
and your
like
policies,
this.
unfortunately, are trying to hide them. I understand you were instructed when 18 senators came down here.
Please respect the people, give them dignity and respect.
I respect them, and I want to fix this situation.
We all want to fix
this,
the
administration you're working for is responsible
anymore.
for these conditions.
Senator, tell us what you experienced. What's going on in that video?
Yeah, I saw the same thing. This little political apparatchik who's been working for the Biden administration for 2 weeks came down and tried to tell senators in my group, like Dan Sullivan, to put their phones away or they were going to be escorted down to the facility, and it just made me wonder who was going to actually do that. Since the Border Patrol agrees that Joe Biden's policy is utter and total failure. That's the thing we consistently heard, is if you let them in, more will come. Not shockingly, if you say that minors get into the country, or that anyone who shows up with a child under the age of 6 gets into the country, guess what? You get more of them into the country. It leads to the heartbreaking scenes that we've seen in some of these pictures and videos from my colleagues. But again, those are all just the symptoms, not the cause. The cause is letting them into the country in the first place. And once they're in, they will never go home. Right. Many of them aren't even getting a notice to appear in court. And if they do appear in court, and they get a notice of removal to deportation, well, Joe Biden has halted deportations.
Yeah.
These people know that they can get into our country and they're never going to have to go home and they can lead a better life. That is the ultimate failure of our immigration system. It could all be solved by simply saying, you cannot get in, do not come. If you do, we will send you home.
You don't have a big heart when you say every unaccompanied minor gets to stay. I think you're not thinking this through, because if every kid comes, what about the kids that are here? We don't exactly have a social infrastructure right now overrun with cash. We're $27 trillion in debt. We have a lot of foster kids that need homes. We have a lot of kids that need to be adopted. Why are we taking in 4 different countries? And I'll bring something else up. They made 2 ridiculous statements. Joe Biden says he replaced a light on the city block and he stopped gangs in Central America. Remember that from Thursday. And then yesterday, Kate Bedingfield says we're going to put money into open up boys' clubs in these triangle countries. That's right. They're here because there are no boys' clubs. That's really going to make tremendous progress. Maybe we can play intramural basketball or tag. That will really stem this. So, I mean, some of the things they're saying are farcical, and they're never pressed on them.
Yeah, they are, Brian. And let's look at the facts as well. I mean, these countries like Guatemala and El Salvador and Honduras, look, they're not heaven on earth, but there are plenty of places in those countries that are safe. And you have a first duty, if you want to seek asylum, is to seek it within your own country, move to a safer part of your own country. And those countries as a whole have lower murder rates than some American cities like Baltimore. So these people who are claiming they want to come here and seek asylum have no basis under our law to seek asylum. Just because your country has some violence, just because it's poorer than the United States, doesn't give you a basis to come here. You have to be the victim of systematic persecution for things like your religious views or your political views or your race or your sex. Not a single one with whom I spoke claimed that the other night. They all were responding to Joe Biden and to his decisions to allow them in. And if we let them in, more will come by the hundreds of thousands.
They're coming.
And it's going to cost hardworking taxpayers billions of dollars. And it's going to put not just our border security at risk, it's going to put our national security at risk as well.